Andres Marquez here on our 11th episode of the Camerata Cast. We have surpassed the number 10. That's something I couldn't have imagined. Um, of course, I could have imagined it. But this has been a really fun ride so far. And speaking of fun rides, I've got an amazing local band, former friend who puts out the most groovy, delicious indie pop songs. If that's how you would describe your music.
Indie, yes. I don't know about delicious. Sometimes groovy, depending on the
I mean,
song.
I would say so. Well, yeah, I would definitely say that your music is got a lot of nice bop to it. I'm not good at describing how music flows, despite being a musician. So hopefully that shortcoming doesn't, set this conversation back. But anyways, please introduce yourselves.
All right, I'm Mark, and I am half a former friend.
And I'm Liana. I'm the other half of former friend.
And we play everything and do it all ourselves. We've occasionally hired band members to support us live.
Hire is the wrong word.
Right. Well,
we've had friends come and go and play like in our live band, but as a recording project, it's just the two of us.
Yeah.
Oh, neat. I love that. I remember. I don't remember where I read it. It was on Instagram or your Bandcamp. But y'all said you started out as a bedroom pop band and you have continued on as a bedroom pop band. And that's kind of one of the things I wanted to go into. Again, going back to your Bandcamp, I did not realize this, but it looks like one of the earliest albums y'all released. I think it's called Billy. Let me see it.
Oh gosh, yeah. I think you're talking about Unexpectations.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
Second one was Smiling in Treats. And then Bill.
Yes, Smiling in Treats. It looked like, from what I could see, it was released in 2002.
That's right. Yes. Oh my god.
That is insane. That is so awesome. Y'all have been here for longer than I've been a conscious being.
Wow.
Yeah, we are approximately 107 years old. So yeah, we've been close to doing this for almost 20 years now.
Yeah, well, we were already playing 20 years ago.
Yeah,
we started releasing stuff about a year after we started playing together.
A year or two. Yeah, so we started off like we met, we became friends, and
hey, I've got a place to practice. Do you play drums?
More or less.
Yeah,
and then so we started by playing like cover songs of like really indie stuff. And then we started like writing original songs. And then, within a year or two, we put out our first release of original stuff and have been kind of plugging away ever since.
Yeah, we've just assumed that this is what we do. We never really planned it or decided we were going to start, a band. It's just, let's make some recordings and see how it comes out. And it's just still that way pretty much.
Yeah, we're still fumbling through it.
As far as the bedroom pop, that's maybe just because we used to live in a one-room place.
It was literally bedroom pop, right? Like we would write and record all our stuff in this one bedroom.
We have
hovel.
A couple of different rooms now, but
yeah.
Still, that's like, I mean, I guess the reason I'm asking, and this is because I guess it goes into my sort of nerdiness when it comes to recording. But I just want to know what it was like to, I guess, be recording yourselves back in this era when, like, stuff like Logic and Ableton was not nearly as commonplace on home computers or on like laptops even.
Right.
That's just such a like, it's so, I don't want to say bizarre, but it's really just amazing to see that kind of technique or that kind of method being used back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, well, Mark comes from a extensive recording background because we're collectively 107, but Mark is a little bit older than me. So, but you're totally come from an old school tape.
Well, yeah, I learned analog, and I learned in recording studios that used 1/2-inch tape and 1-inch tape, and we started digitally. We never did anything analog between us. Really, we were using old programs, but yeah, it was a lot more difficult to get everything to work right. We had a limit of 8 tracks, I think, is all we could do
when we were recording. Yeah. So those were like early days of digital recording. I've never done analog. I've never even done 4-track recording, but together. Like it's just always been digital, but it is in the early 2000s. I mean,
It was a different world.
What were we using? An iMac or?
We were using a laptop, a G4 Mac laptop.
And Deck, this old program called Deck.
Yeah, in fact, that G4 was until 2004. So we were using a Quadra. If you know anything about Macs, it was the first one that did audio, like full screen video and audio, and that was our main workstation.
It was very.
It was an 840 AV.
Yeah, but it was so slow, and the number of tracks, were very limited. We had to bounce tracks all the time, even though we were using a computer. Even back then, it just wasn't what it is today.
Yeah, tons of sub mixes. Like we would sub mix the drums to a stereo track and then play those. And by the time we started doing more like the second and third EPs, I think we had a computer that let us do 16 tracks at that point. So all of our background vocals kind of expanded.
Yeah.
That's when we started doing that. But yeah, we were limited by the technology in 2002 for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And before I go on, I don't want to like seem like I'm, pushing the whole, oh, you guys are so old thing. I'm really not trying to push that angle, so I'm sorry.
No, we totally own it.
The shoe fits.
Yeah, we're definitely the old fogies in the scene here. So.
I guess a bit about my own recording background. I grew up with a lot of instructors. I'm a drummer, and I've had a few private instructors who all also kind of grew up in the analog recording era and have gotten to see those huge recording setups, like the mixers that are all just huge desks of metal and plastic. And that stuff's always amazed me. And yeah, I guess that's just kind of why I'm pushing that. I also did want to ask, since y'all started releasing before the huge streaming, I keep using that word, huge, my gosh, but the really big streaming platforms like Spotify, Bandcamp, y'all were releasing stuff before then. So I also wanted to ask, like, how did y'all put out music? Was it on like CDs and tapes and whatnot?
CDs, we made one 7-inch vinyl, but that wasn't the first thing we made. So that was kind of a throwback when we did it.
It was CDs, and we would
CDRs. We burned them ourselves.
Yeah, very much. We've always been very much DIY.
It was physical product. That's how we gave it out to people.
Yeah, we would give it out to not only friends and family, but we had a huge list of college radio stations that we would put together packages and send out to 1 million college radio stations.
A couple hundred, but
literally 1 million, Mark.
Imagine taking an X-Acto knife and a ruler and cutting the square cover for a CD jewel case a couple hundred times.
Yeah, we
had
exhausting.
an inkjet printer that kept failing on us. The one screen printed, I think Smiling and Treats was when we had screen printed. That was nice because we had someone else make the covers.
That was pretty cool.
It was a Digipack, I think, or whatever they call it.
But it was a whole lot of work for the first few years. Yeah, physically having to mail out just packages of things to those college stations.
But then, all there was. We didn't know that was a lot of work.
Right. That was just reality.
This is how you do it.
But like what I would say early mid 2000s, about 2002 or 3, actually, some streaming sites started to come to the scene. Like
Bandcamp was early.
Well, Bandcamp was in 08 or 09, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but in 02 or 3, there
MP3.com.
was MP3.com, which turned into download.com or the other way around. And that was one of the very early streaming sites where anyone can put up MP3s. And because it was such early days, it wasn't saturated. So us being nobodies, we would still get like thousands of plays, which was crazy for like 2003, right?
That was the big one that we used. There was some other ones. I forgot them.
I don't remember.
But MP3.com, I remember that was big. And then when that stopped, it was like we had to get all our stuff off the website.
And then MySpace came along and all that stuff. And then the rest is history.
That's so fucking rad.
It's pretty crazy.
I did, if you don't mind me kind of, moving course or changing the course, I did want to ask about your influences. When I listen to your music, I hear, I guess the closest thing I can kind of pinpoint is Yo La Tengo, which is also kind of like a, you seem to have heard of them, so I'm not going to go into it. But
that's amazing. We love Yo La Tengo.
I'll go on.
No, please.
I was gonna say Yo La Tengo is probably like one of the older bands I can pinpoint, but also I hear stuff that I also can find in a lot of like newer indie slash bedroom pop bands, stuff like Boy Pablo, bands like them. They all kind of have that lineage from that late
Yeah.
'90s indie scene. So I just wanted to ask for some of your specific influences, what kind of like feeds into the music that y'all make.
Well, I'll start. I guess for me, it's whatever is on my mind. I think I listen to music. I'm too old to only understand like the newer stuff, so a lot of my influences come from things that are like really old, more like '80s, like bands like Squeeze. Um, but we've always liked They Might Be Giants too. Um,
Oh, sick.
Juliana Hatfield.
Oh yeah.
Just some of my favorites, Frank Black. I mean, that whole like mid '90s thing was really important to me, and that's kind of when I started getting more into writing original songs too. So,
Yeah. And Mark also has deep roots in like old school OG punk.
oh yeah,
Yeah. So that's a lot of influence. You like
and
the heavy
prog.
stuff.
I like Yes and Gentle Giant, things
Yeah.
like that. Zappa. Zappa
Well,
was a
Zappa's
huge
cool.
influence. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't live without understanding Zappa and Beefheart musically. I think that's really a critical step for anybody.
Yeah. And I come more from definitely 90s indie stuff, like indie pop and indie rock and twee and all that stuff. So I think that probably directly influences a lot of the stuff that I write.
Our common ground, though, is things like the Beach Boys and the Carpenters,
The Beatles,
the
Kinks,
Beatles. Yeah, the
the
Kinks.
Kinks.
We
Yeah.
loved that stuff. That's one of the reasons we met was from our love of music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. It's a wide variety of music that y'all both seem to be drawn upon. I did want to ask, what sort of, I guess this is something that usually comes later in the cast, but it's already come to mind. What sort of projects y'all might have, uh, you know, coming forward? I've seen that. I think earlier this month y'all did a live stream show with Chives and a few bands like that. I think that's SoCal live shows. Is that
Yes.
it?
SoCal Rock shows.
SoCal rock shows. My bad. My
Yeah.
bad.
No, that's our friend Jeff, who is just. Do you know him?
No, I just there were there I just saw the flyer on your thing.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for different like events and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I can barely make half of them, being as busy as I am. Oh
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
it's a slog.
It's yeah. No, it's yeah. So SoCal Rock shows is our friend Jeff, who is a huge supporter of like the local scene and local music, Orange County and LA County. Like she's just an amazing supporter of local music and local bands. And so he puts together a lot of shows, or he did pre-COVID, and then during COVID he would do these streaming shows, especially in the earlier days of the pandemic. But so yeah, he's also in a band called Sunset Swim, and we did a split recently, a split 7-inch. And so to kind of celebrate the release of that, he put together this show with, gosh, who was on it? A bunch of cool local bands. Young Atita. Did Chives play? I'm blinking.
I thought it was Chives. I've seen y'all play like a couple different, shows with Chives on flyers at least.
Yeah,
haven't seen them live.
dude, they're awesome. Yeah, we played with them. Oh gosh, maybe it's been a year and a half now. It's been a while at Beatnik Bandito, which is a cool local venue.
Jeff and Sunset Swim, we've played with them in person, different clubs and venues.
Yeah, but that was a fun stream. We played a really mellow, chill set on that one. Yeah.
Sick. And if y'all don't mind me asking, if not something that I guess y'all are holding close to the chest at the moment, do y'all have any more releases planned or anything on that kind of end?
Oh yeah, we always have stuff ready to go. We're kind of like struggling now between getting old stuff finished that we started years ago and coming up with the new ideas and finishing, new songs as well.
Yeah.
So we're working on both of those fronts at the same time. So there's always material that we have like trying to get out.
we kind of like we're terrible at like planning, like we're not marketing stuff or whatever.
No.
So we just kind of put out songs as we finish it. So we definitely have a bunch of stuff come like in the works, and we're trying to figure out, should we keep continuing to like put out one song at a time, or should we kind of package up a few of them and put out an EP? We're still figuring it out.
Yeah, we've done singles, we've done individual songs, we've done EPs. I think an album is the only thing left, but I don't know how that would work. We don't have an album concept yet.
I don't think I want to do an album again. But yeah, we don't have a firm date for the next thing, but there's something definitely coming out soon. Yeah. We don't know if it's going to be a new song or an EP yet, like a 4-song EP, but we'll see.
That's all cool. I mean, just it's just fun listening to your music, so might as well ask.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess this is a bit of a broader question, and I suppose it has to do more with our individual and collective places in the music scene, as it were. But I did want to ask, since y'all brought up marketing, I wanted to ask, how would you say your, not position, but your thoughts basically on, putting yourself out there through social media and stuff. I've asked this with a couple different artists and get a lot of different answers. But I guess the point, the perspective I'm asking from is basically social media can be a great tool, for putting your music out there, for promoting, and for getting discovered in ways that you might not have been able to get discovered before the advent of platforms like Instagram and Facebook. But it is also a chore, and it is also an extremely divisive set of tools. And at the end of the day, it becomes an entirely different occupation or job unto itself to be occupied with social media.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask for y'all's opinions and perspectives on that.
We don't have a successful perspective on that at all, because neither one of us have any interest in business or marketing or what's the term?
Acumen. We have no business or marketing acumen.
Yeah, we don't have those skills or even the desire to learn those skills. So what we've had to do is just through friends, like I had a friend that gave me a list of college radio stations and said, this is a great thing to do. And it was fun and it worked, and they would respond and they would play the stuff. You just have to know who to send it to and what to send them. And a lot of those are going electronic now.
Yeah.
Some of them still demand physical product, though. That's my only experiences with that. I'll let Liana cover the social stuff because she does that pretty well.
I wouldn't say I do it well, but
you do
I'm the
everything
one that I guess handles it between the two of us. That's a hard question because like you said, it is like a whole job, and we have our day jobs, and what free time we do have, we want to spend making music, and then to deal with like whatever marketing is really difficult, and I'm completely clueless. I'm just sort of making it up as I go, or just figuring it out as I go.
It's definitely true that the college radio thing is the same thing, because you were supposed to follow up with phone calls, and now it's emails, and it's just, you have to constantly be on that to make any of that work or really to your advantage.
So the pros of like social media and using that as a platform is for little bands like us who are kind of doing it on our own, and we're not like really a live band, and we don't tour or do things like that. So it is one way to kind of get our name or songs out there without playing shows, I guess. And what else?
Well, we're not in it for the money.
No, we're not.
So that's really hasn't been an urgent need of ours either.
Yeah. So I guess it's also about just, we use it a lot as a tool to like discover other local or small or indie bands, and just discover new music for our own enjoyment. So as far as like the marketing aspect of it, it's like, it's a difficult question.
And we're not the right people to ask.
Yeah, because we haven't figured it out yet.
All right, my bad.
No worries. Like if you have any tips, let us know.
How do you do it?
Reach out to us. Let us know.
How do I do it? I wouldn't say that I'm like exactly clueless, but I've actually read like articles and books on this kind of shit, and I'm not even sure if it's supposed to make sense. I'm not sure that it's supposed to actually result in anything for the wide mass of people that actually want to market their stuff through social media,
Right.
because some of the information, some of the like techniques, as you might call it, some of that stuff just gets so dated so fast because
Changes.
social media right now is like constantly evolving. Um, Honestly, for me, I don't have a strategy. I don't like business shit. I don't like having to like corporatize or whatever for this, because in the end, I made this little group, and I continue wanting this group to be an organic base, just to promote other artists.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, like you said, I'm not in it for the
Right.
money. It'd be awesome if like this podcast got a sponsor or something, or if like we make some money off the events we do. But in the end, I don't want to sacrifice, the amazing relationships I've had with artists,
Yeah.
or like the ability to just be part of the scene
Right.
for money.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like for us, it's I think we're on the same boat where it's just kind of about community, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, we lack strategy, and I mean, we'll post about stuff that we put out or whatever, but it's we're not trying to collect likes or followers or anything like that. Yeah, I don't understand the game.
Mm.
I mean, for us, I think it's just not for us.
We don't know the right people.
Have you seen the newest like algorithm thing where like on Instagram saves are more valuable than likes and shares and comments or whatever? Like, have you seen that thing that's been going around?
Yeah, I see artists, pass that around a whole bunch. I see it in people's stories and stuff, and it's like, well, first of all, props on them for sharing that,
Yeah.
because I know there are a bunch of artists that actually do require social
Yes.
media to basically like fuel their living.
Yeah,
Um,
totally support that too. Yeah.
yeah, of course, but at the same time, on the part of Instagram, the people who make the algorithm themselves, I just think it's like it's not necessarily like gross, but it's very like it just feels shady for some
It does.
reason.
It
It
is
feels like
gross.
all right, then I'm validated in that
Yeah.
case.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of local and DIY indie bands who are just trying to get their stuff out there, and it does feel like Instagram is just really trying to make these people jump through a lot of hoops, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, when they're just trying to share their work or their art with
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
Well, still their choice to jump or not.
But I mean, there are artists who depend on it to, you know, make a living off of it too, which is totally cool. But the platforms are making it harder and harder for those artists to do that.
Well, there's how can you make money with music? I mean,
The
commercials, movies, that's the big stuff. Sales, I don't think sales work anymore.
but like, doesn't the big industry care about your social media following, like for
Oh yeah,
band,
yeah.
right? So
If you want to get discovered or whatever, yeah, that's
it's this crazy web of like, ew, you know.
And that's the thing regarding Instagram and social media as an attention economy. It's it's never going to work for everybody, but that's basically how it is for the system itself. I guess by that I mean like the entire outlying economy in which we all exist. It's just like I can understand why people would want to make it in a band or as an artist, because like it's not exactly that it beats working a 9 to 5 or a 40-hour work week, but like right now, there are just going to be people who can't get those jobs.
Right.
There are just going to be people who can't actually get hired by companies for that sort of labor.
Yeah.
So it's like it just becomes like an endless sort of whatever the name of that snake is that eats its tail.
mm.
It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. But having said that, I obviously I use it every day. I engage with those products, but I mean, it's not so much about promoting ourselves. I mean, there's an element of that, but I just love discovering new bands and new artists and meeting you, right? Like that came out of this, right? It's pretty amazing to
Yeah.
kind of connect like the world as a community. Yeah.
Yeah, like little tangent, and not to I guess not to bag on y'all or anything, but I honestly don't recall how I got in contact with with you.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happened. It's just you must have shown up. Like I must have seen y'all playing a show with a band I know or something like that. But I just got turned on to your music somehow, and it's like, oh, this is really groovy. And then I reached out, and that's how it happened. But it's so weird. It's just like the actual circumstance slips my mind.
Yeah. We were gonna ask you like how did we originally
Yeah.
meet again? And I do remember you added our song to your playlist, and it blew my mind because I was like, "Whoa, how did this person even find us?" I'm floored anytime anyone finds us. But yeah, so that's I kind of remember that, but I don't remember beyond that.
I know how
Yeah,
I found out. You told me. That's
Yeah.
how I found out.
Like Mark, we got added to this playlist because that doesn't really happen to us.
Well, yeah, I mean, like we just I guess in context for people who might not know everything that goes on in the Camerata, but we have a whole bunch of little Spotify playlists where we share local artists' music, and we have I guess our biggest one actually is our indie pop slash dance uh, playlist. It's got like at least 2 hours of music on
Wow.
it. And when I found Former Friend, I was like, oh, I got to add this to our playlist. It was the latest song that you had released at that point. I'm not sure if it was Scented Misery.
I think it was Scented Misery, yeah.
It, yes, it was because I remember hearing the intro that and I was like, oh, I love this already.
Oh
And you
my
had
gosh.
the little Rhodes piano going.
Oh,
Oh, it
dude.
was so great.
Dude, thank you so much. Seriously,
Thanks.
we're really, really grateful
Yeah.
for, I mean, not just for adding us, but being able to have met you because of that, I guess. I'm assuming that must be the origin, right? I don't know how you discovered our song, but you added us and that's how we found you. So
That makes the most sense.
yeah. But yeah, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, that was a fun song to make.
Oh, it's like it's a fun song to listen to.
Thanks.
Again, we're gonna change a bit of course because I guess we don't have to. I've got like a list of questions that I just pick at randomly, but
Sure.
doesn't have to necessarily be that way. I did want to ask though. I'm going everywhere with this. I'm sorry. I did want to ask if y'all have any. How did you say like favorite shows y'all played? This has been kind of like a common thing that I've been asking past couple artists that had on here, but you know it's been about a year since COVID started just shitting all over the place.
That's so crazy.
And yeah, it's just been kind of nice to reminisce on, live music, live events, as it were. And I did want to ask if y'all had any favorites that y'all have played recently or back in the day.
Ooh.
Recently, we've been exploring with the streaming, being able to do more direct line-in type stuff, so it sounds better with an interface, and changing the instrumentation a lot lately. That's been kind of fun. But as far as favorite shows, all the shows we used to play, I always have fond memories of them. Really,
Yeah,
but
it's hard to.
It was fun to play at the Beatnik. That was always a good show.
Shows at the Beatnik Bandito. It's a little record store in Santa Ana. Those are always super fun, really intimate, not necessarily quiet, but very intimate because it's such a small shop with a lot of great local artists. You know what really stands out for me though also is the Saragami show. It's like it was a bar, but they really were about like the band and the music,
and
which
we
is
had
like
the back room with the snacks.
Yeah, so it was kind of like it was like one of the fanciest places that we played, so that was pretty fun. But I don't know, it's hard to pick one out. But yeah, those Beatnik shows are always the best.
Yeah,
because it's so intimate,
Yeah, shout out to shops like record shops and coffee shops that hold shows. I saw y'all had played a show at Made in Fullerton. I think it was not last year, maybe 2019. But Made is such like it's an unexpected place to see shows because it generally looks very packed. But I'm guessing y'all probably played by the window space that's like right next to the sidewalk in the show.
Yeah.
Or not in the show, in the store.
It's Made is it's a coffee shop.
That was the last day of music, right?
Oh, you guys played Day of Music?
Yeah. Day of Music in Fullerton.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's what that was for. That was our second time.
Yeah, we did that twice.
Yeah. So the last time we played Day of Music Fullerton was at Made Coffee, right next to the window. That was an interesting show because we were probably the last band to play, so it was late.
We were a duo.
Yeah, it wasn't the full band. It was just the two of us.
Bass and guitar and vocals.
And there was like nobody there except like my mom and my our niece.
Yeah.
And it was very quiet.
Yeah.
Very quiet. But it was a fun set actually.
It was pleasant. Yeah.
It was pleasant. That's a good word for it.
And the sound was good in there too. I remember that.
Yeah, they had a good PA. But yeah. So you're familiar with Made Coffee?
Oh yeah, I just I was just kind of like scrolling through all the flyers y'all have for the venues you played, and Made came up. I had seen a couple different events there.
Cool.
I happen to know about it because my friend Omar works there. Shoutouts to Omar.
Small world.
Yeah.
That's a small world. That's cool.
Yeah, like Omar has been a friend of mine for at least a few years, but I remember seeing this band. Holy shit, what was her name? I got to pull it up from the depths real fast.
Yeah.
Marcelina and the Monarchs. There we go.
Okay.
But yeah, they were playing there, and I was like, I didn't think they could fit an entire band in that little space.
Yeah, it's remarkable, like the tiny places we have played as a band too, and how you look at it and you're like, how are we all going to fit in this little tiny space? And bands always make it work, right? You manage to kind of Tetris your way into like the tiny spaces.
And there's that swamp in San Clemente called Knuckleheads.
Oh yeah.
In the back where the drums are.
Yeah.
It's like a cave.
Yeah, that was the part.
So pleasantness. Shows that have been pleasant, those are the ones that I remember.
Awesome.
Andres, where are you based out of? I know you're in LA, but
yeah, I'm in Whittier, which is like it's not necessarily backwater, but in terms of live music, it's kind of dead. So that's why I'm always looking for shows in like OC and out in the like the downtown LA area. So that's where it's happening.
We played in Whittier,
near Whittier, somewhere.
Lucky Lizard Lounge. Was that near Whittier?
Is that next to a laundromat?
You actually played the Lucky Lizard?
Lucky Lizard, is that it? Yeah.
Oh my god.
We went to the Puffy Taco place.
Oh, Puffy Tacos! Oh,
Arturo's Puffy Tacos.
Oh, yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. That was the place, right? It was yeah.
That's like a 20-minute walk from my home.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we've been up there.
Yeah, that was a fun show. I don't mind bar shows. That was fun. That was set up by Jenna, and we played with Mango Napalm, who were really, really nice guys. And that was a show where I literally stopped in the middle of a song because I messed up because I'm completely unprofessional, and you guys all glared at me. But that was that was really fun.
That was a full band show.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're not in it to be professionals.
Yeah. Live thing has always been a challenge. But yeah, that's cool. That we might have crossed paths at the taco shop there.
Was that with Alex?
Alex and JD, yeah.
So that's when we were both playing drums at that point. Our instrumentation has changed a bit over the course of our shows, but that was my favorite configuration.
With the band, the full band, yeah.
Because that's how we started. We started her playing guitar and me playing drums while she sang, and then we switched and did the opposite when I sang. And we built a band around that, and that was kind of fun for a while.
I'm trying to look for the flyer because I want to remember who else played that show. But yeah, again, small world. That's cool.
Yeah, that's so rad. I was just surprised about the Lucky Lizard because I was actually a few years ago, me and my band, which is now known as Big Hat Logan, we wanted to play a show at the Lucky Lizard because I don't even know how we had heard about it. But we went inside, and I guess the general vibe was that the owner or whoever was talking to us, he was just like, "Yeah, we don't think we're going to be doing shows right now." And we're like, "Okay." It wasn't necessarily hostile, but it just felt very like, how do you say, off-putting.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, I guess it's not here then.
How dare you ask?
No, like I have nothing against the guy. It's just like I'm surprised that it happened at the Lucky Lizard for y'all. Like we don't even know how we found out about that place.
Yeah, it's because getting shows as you know, very challenging. Like we've encountered the scenarios we're like no. But the Lucky Lizard one was set up by Jenna, who runs SoCal Indie Musicians, and so she helps indie bands, set up shows, and she really helps the community too. So that was like she did all the work, and I can't remember who reached out to who, but it was yeah, we were asked to play that. Play that one, and yeah, it worked out really really great. It was really fun. But how do you so get like do you guys pre-COVID, did you guys play live a lot?
So the band I'm talking about, Big Hat Logan, we actually haven't played a live show before COVID. We were a different band called Reptile Dysfunction, and we had a different bassist. And after he left, we kind of changed things around. But in any case, with Reptile Dysfunction, we played shows maybe about once a month if we were lucky.
Yeah.
But the guys had super busy work schedules. All of them worked at the same BJ's in Downey, so it was a bit difficult for them all to get a day off for to play a show because they were very integral to the team,
Right.
and there was like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Were
you the one that coordinated everybody and scheduled things or booked shows, or were you the handler?
It really depended on who we knew. It was mainly between me and our guitarist Brandon. Big shout outs to Brandon. But yeah, sometimes I would get contacted through the Camerata or through my personal information, and I'd be asked like, "Hey, can you play a show?" Sometimes Brandon would be contacted, and I think that's actually how we got like this Battle of the Bands gig. That was super fun.
Oh, cool.
But we were also like terrible at that gig.
Where was that one? Where was that one?
Oh, that one. Oh my God, I missed this place. It was called PBW, Pizza Beer Wings in downtown Pomona. Sadly, they are closed. But they had like this amazing there was a huge, like really lovely little pizza shop. And that was the main part of it. But then you go through a side door, and there's this like indoor alley-looking space that's got arcade games.
Oh.
And at the very back of it, there's a stage for music.
Oh, that's rad.
Popping.
Yeah. So people would go to like watch bands and music, like listen to music.
Oh yeah, like I mean, PBW was back when it was around. The few shows I had seen there were not necessarily packed sometimes, but most of the time there was like a big audience. It was really
cool.
It just had a vibe.
Yeah, that's cool. But you don't feel like you guys played well?
That show, I think it was the pressure of being in a battle of the bands.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a competition now. I think it was just that pressure that kind of caused us to cave a bit. And then I think the part that really kind of kicked our asses emotionally was that they invited us to play the second round. It wasn't that we made it. They asked us to play. They're like, "Hey, why don't you try again?"
Like it was a pity invite, re-invite.
That's what we felt because I think we saw the listing. There were like 5 bands that made it, and then at the bottom there was us. We didn't even have a placement. We were just like, I don't want to ruminate on that. I think it's very funny how that happens.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty funny, and we actually got an even bigger audience from that second show, which I don't think was nearly as bad on our part. And
there's like
I don't know.
Right? Yeah, you got to get back on that horse. Don't
oh, exactly.
Lay there.
I'd say that with Reptile Dysfunction, we've had a few amazing shows. There's this place in Downey called the Epic Lounge, run by my friend Mario, who I'm also in a band with. But they're another bar, and they have like a really big dance hall / stage. I'd say it's more devoted towards live music than it is for serving drinks.
Yeah.
But that was one of the only times I've personally ever had a mosh start from a band I'm in. It was insane.
Oh my God.
It's fucking rad.
Like, wow, that must have been so like adrenaline rush to see that what you're playing is making people do this, right?
Like, I'd run from the back door. I don't. Well, it depends on what they were moshing about.
Has former friend ever started a mosh?
Oh,
No.
actually,
I don't think so.
no.
None of our songs are that fast.
I'm trying to think. You know, we played that grilled cheese grill out show with
Outside.
outside at this was it a senior center?
Yeah.
Or art center? It was a senior center.
It was an outdoor public space in Mission Viejo.
And this was with the full band, and we had this very old couple, probably in their 80s, really jamming out to us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sick.
They were leaving, tread on the ground all over the place.
That was actually really, sincerely though, I was just like astounded and amazed and so like pleased. Yeah, just to like,
dancing isn't something that people do at our shows generally.
Generally,
they stand and look and kind of make us feel uncomfortable by looking straight at us the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what was a fun show? I just remembered the Moose Lodge in Oceanside.
Oh yeah,
that was a good one.
Ooh.
Big giant dance floor, but
no one was dancing.
But
it was still fun.
It was a big room and all wood too, so that was great.
Yeah. Oh, we played the OC Fair once. We were the first band of the day on a small side stage. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning, so there was like virtually no one there, but there was like a 5-year-old who was jamming out to us, and that was awesome too. Like, love making kids and old people dance.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, I totally understand it when it comes to like nobody dancing. I feel like that's just, I'm not gonna say that, I'm not gonna put any sort of baggage on anybody, but I think it's just what happens at small shows and indie shows, because every show I've been to, whether I was playing or whether I was just there to support, friends, that nobody moves.
Yes.
Right.
Everybody just looks at the band. Everybody's kind of just projecting their attention upon the band. And it's just kind of sad.
It's the crossed
honestly.
arms, like bobbing head, right?
I'm the same way when I go to shows
Me
too.
too.
But I've been in bands that we were playing dance music, cover bands. That's when it's really frustrating when people don't dance, is when they're supposed to. And that's why you're there.
This reminds me, like, we used to play early mid 2000s. We played in a dance punk band, and we were both.
Oh yeah. No Apologies. We played at Gilman Street.
Yeah,
that was fun.
We were called the No Apologies Project, and at those shows, the kids were actually dancing.
There was moshing going on.
Yeah, back in those days, everyone danced to that band. Yeah, so and it does feel good when you're like, oh my gosh, we're actually like moving people.
And then you expect it.
Yeah.
And then you have a show when no one moves, and it's like, come on, people.
Spoiled already.
Why don't you fucking go home? That's when the punk in me comes out.
Yeah. I get that. That's why it was so big for us when we played the Epic, to have people just like, thrashing about. Because we're a punk band. We're still a punk band. And we had a whole bunch of ragers of songs, and then at the end of our set we played a cover of "Killing in the Name" Rage, and that's when people just started fucking just going hard. We had it was a whole bunch of friends of ours from BJ's, and everybody was like hopping onto the stage, and it was so killer. Dude. Oh, now I just want to play live.
Yeah, you miss it, right? Like when you think about
all this talk, I'm starting to miss it even more.
It's a different energy for sure. But you're a drummer, right?
Chiefly, yes. I play a few different instruments, but I enjoy drums way too much to play anything else in a band.
Yeah. I would consider myself primarily a drummer, I guess. It's hard for me to even say that because I'm not that good.
We haven't done it in a few years.
Yeah, but playing drums is just, you just get to beat the shit out of these things, and it's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, it's and I'm not saying this, I can't say this from the perspective of somebody who primarily plays a different instrument, but drums just feel so primal.
Yeah.
I just feel like
that's the whole point.
It's so easy to get lost in because it's just rhythm for the most part, unless you're somebody like Terry Bozzio, where you're just like, playing melodies at the same time as they're playing a rhythm. It's just like, it's the pure dance aspect.
Yeah.
We had a show with a group that we were in for one night called the Hi-Hat Club.
Oh my gosh.
And it was comprised of 5 drums. 5 drummers.
5 complete drum kits.
Yeah. What? And that's it. and a couple of dancers.
We had our friend on cowbell,
Right.
but there were no other instruments. There were no stringed instruments, no guitar, no bass. It was just drum kits on a stage.
Yeah, it was planned, but we hadn't practiced. We all knew we all could play drums. We had 5 drummers there, and they all set up. We all played for, it was like 15, 20 minutes of the noisiest, complete chaos you could imagine.
So loud.
Yeah, it was the loudest thing we've ever been part of.
Well, I totally forgot about. I'll have to post a clip of that.
Yeah.
It was a hoot.
It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then someone starts, and then they all. It's just chaos. It didn't really ebb and flow at all.
Yeah.
It was just a
Well,
wall.
no, we fall into a groove like between 5 drummers a lot, but in retrospect, like I remember, I think we played cymbals a little too much. Like I would, if we ever did it again, I would hit the cymbals a lot less and focus more on like the drums.
Right. Maybe a conductor to point when someone
Yeah.
needs to fill. You can't all do fills at the same time.
Yeah. But I mean, as a drummer, highly recommend get like 3 or 4 of your friends who play drums.
If you ever need an act at a show, just have the drummer for all your bands play together as an opening act. It's kind of fun.
That was a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a real blast.
I really want to see this clip now. That sounds like such fun.
There's no video. It's just
No, we do
audio.
have a video.
We do?
There's kind of people in front of it, but
it's an 8mm thing.
Yeah. So, but you'll hear it. It is a bit too much cymbals, but you get the idea of like how crazy it must have been with that much drum.
That's harsh wall noise for sure.
Yes.
I mean, it's not electric, but wow.
Yeah.
I think the most drummers I've ever seen in a live setting was probably, I mean, I haven't seen them live, but I've heard it. It was King Crimson during their last bout of shows where they had 3 different drummers going at the same time.
Jeez, man.
That somehow they managed to control the chaos. Well, I mean, aside from the fact that, Gavin Harrison, Bill Reiflin, and Pat Mescaletto are insanely talented drummers. But even then, it's like, I can't imagine 5 people going at it at the same time on drums. I can't. It just. How did it work? How does it work?
It didn't, but it did.
Yeah. I'm thinking of King Crimson. I'm thinking of when I saw King Crimson, it was Bill Bruford was drumming.
Oh, you saw them?
Yeah.
You got to see them live?
It was in the 80s. They were a trio: Tony Levin and Bill Bruford and Robert Fripp. It was great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Mark was there, man.
I'm still here.
Like such a treat. All right, so if y'all don't mind, we're going to be winding down the podcast right about now. I did want to ask, this is kind of our final bit that we have on every episode. Did want to ask if y'all wanted to shout out any local artists or any local organizers and promoters, anybody in the scene that y'all find inspiring and that y'all like working with and stuff like that. We just try and, give props to all the members of our community who help lift us up.
That's rad. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you the name and Liana will give you the details. Toya.
Toya. Yeah. Our friend Victoria, she goes by Victoria Fragoso.
On nights like this, I reminisce those nights calling me. Us in the dark, drinking in the park, then a strange feeling. Colors like sounds all turned around.
Her Instagram handle is Fragogo Writes Music, and she's just a beautiful singer-songwriter, great voice, amazing voice, piano player, and she has a song called "Do You Mind," which like moves me to tears. It's so beautiful. That came out last fall, but she recently put out a new single called "Disease of Fools," and I think she just posted she's going to put out another new single. So super prolific, super talented, Victoria Fragoso.
Sunset Swim.
We're so like next on the list, Sunset Swim.
Keep it moving.
Sunset Swim. We talked about them earlier. That's Jeff's band, Jeff and Bill's band. They're also a duo, very lo-fi indie pop duo.
At last light we're here and it's real. The harmony is higher, so alive. Every time you glance, I look away. I clutch at sound and fury, surrounded, soak in sea.
Who just the sweetest, most indie twee pop songs ever. And we recently did the split 7-inch picture disc lathe cut split with them. Their song was called At Last Light. Really pretty song.
And live, it's a drummer and a guitar player.
Yeah, it's
One
it's
drum.
just so sweet. Yeah,
One drum and a cymbal.
Yeah.
That's it. And
Seriously,
the No Yaz.
The No Yeah. So I discovered them through actually Jeff of Sunset Swim, who also runs SoCal Rock Music. SoCal Rock shows. Because he put out a record by the No Yaz. Her Instagram handle is actually Girl on Bus, but it's super cute.
Yeah.
Again, just the sweetest, cutest, like twee indie pop songs, just super wholesome. And we really enjoyed listening to the No Yaz / Girl on Bus. And she played that stream show with us from a couple weeks ago. So, yeah.
sick.
And Camerata. Shout out to Camerata.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to shout out a couple folks as well. I want to give a big old shout out to Omar and the folks at Made Coffee, who, of course, pre-COVID, been putting on some delightful live music events. Yeah. Omar, I'm not sure if you're listening to this, but I miss you. I hope you're doing well. And I also want to shout out somebody from, I guess, my end of town, Manny, who runs Moonshine Records, a beautiful little hole-in-the-wall record shop in uptown Whittier. Oh, nice. And it's got every sort of piece of music you can imagine. There's like really cool old school hip hop. They've got punk. They've got old school metal, a whole bunch of rock, and a whole bunch of jazz. It's crazy. They even got like a big wall of cassettes. They've got awesome. Everything. Manny's a super chill dude. I've gotten some amazing pieces of music from him. He also does DJing. He's a slick DJ. Not sure if he performs right now, but I remember seeing him perform, I think at least once in front of Moonshine. But yeah, shout outs to Manny. That's going to be it on my end. I do want to say thank you once again for coming on to this cast. It's been such a delight to chat with y'all both. I'll be putting this, of course, in like Instagram or whatever. But where can folks find you on the interwebs?
On the interwebs, we are on Instagram at formerfriend. We also have our music out on Bandcamp at formerfriend.bandcamp.com, and we're on Spotify and all the other streaming sites. Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, be our friend on Instagram. Now I feel dirty. I feel dirty now.
You've fallen for the greatest marketing.
Yes.
Oh, and of course, I think how recent was this? Y'all released some music. Was it this month? We've met before. Did you release it this month?
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was. Yeah, just before Valentine's Day. Yeah, that was on purpose. Yeah. So was that last week? Oh yeah, it's just been over a week. I even posted about it saying, "Hey, it's just been a week. Have you checked out our song?" But yeah, that was about a week ago. Yeah, you can find We've Met Before any streaming service, Bandcamp, Spotify, etc., etc.
Awesome. Yeah, give them a listen. I'm sure they will make your day brighter and happier and groovier. Hopefully you dance to their music, unlike all the people at all of our shows and all of their shows. But yeah, thank you all again, and I'll be chatting with you soon and whatnot. Adios.
Thank you.
Thanks for talking to us.